Hi, I'm Liz. Thank you for joining me. Today we'll be going through a yin yoga practice focusing on releasing stress and tension from the lower part of the body. So really focusing on your thighs, your hips, your glutes, and the lower back. So making sure that you are comfortable, you're wearing some comfortable clothes, that you know you can move freely in. You may have some blocks, a bolster. If you don't have any of that, some cushions or some blankets will be perfect. Yoga strap, there will be an option for that at the end of the practice. If you don't have one though, again, don't stress. You can use a towel or a t-shirt, or you may find that you don't actually need it. It's just as an option. So I had this request for my Monday evening yin yoga practice from a student, and I thought I would share it with you all today. So finding your seat and just allowing yourself to settle into your space. You can close the eyes down if that feels comfortable. Just allowing the spine to lengthen, reaching up through the crown of the head. The shoulders relax back and down. Bringing some awareness into your breath. Just taking a few breaths in through the nose and letting that go either through the nose or the mouth. As you're doing that, you might take a little check-in through your body, checking in with maybe the neck, the shoulders, making your way through the body down into the hips, thighs, all the way down to your feet. Short breathing practice before we begin. So we're going to be doing 3 physiological sighs. I'll demonstrate what they are, and then you can join in with me. We'll do 3 together. So it's 2 inhalations through the nose and a long exhalation through the mouth. So it looks like this. So joining me now, breathing in. Doing that again. One more time. Let's take a moment in your seat, just feeling into how that made you feel. You may feel relaxed. It can sometimes kind of make you feel a little bit dizzy, maybe some tingling sensations in the body. Just knowing that that will pass pretty quickly. It's coming back into a natural rhythm of breath that feels right for you. So breathing smoothly, and I'll continue to remind you as we make our way through the practice. And we're going to be focusing on 4 different aspects that can tend to happen in a yin yoga practice. And you may find that you do these things within your life when you come into uncomfortable situations or just challenges, things that challenge you and kind of maybe, just challenge you in life. So we tend to either want to run away from that situation, we want to change the situation, or we want to suffer through the situation, and that's a real kind of victim mentality, like this sucks, why am I doing this? This always happens to me, why does it feel like this? Shut up, Liz, and just keep going. Or we can accept what is happening. So the first 2 are very kind of yang responses, and then the second 2 are quite yin responses. So accepting what is happening doesn't mean that you're kind of just going, oh, well, I'm just going to let it happen and I'm not going to do anything about it. By accepting what is happening, we have awareness of what is happening, the way that we're thinking about it. And from that acceptance, from that awareness of how we're thinking about it, then we can make conscious decisions onto what we do next. So do we make changes, or do we stay and do we go, no, I can push through this challenge. I know I can get to the other side. It's not going to last forever. So they're 4 quite different responses, and you may find that you go through those as we go through different shapes. You may find that you don't, and that's fine. But it's just a really great way to practice mindfulness and practice just checking in with how you think about certain things in your life. So are you really negative about everything? Or do you have this ability to kind of change that and go, okay, well, this is challenging, yes, but it's happening. And I know I can either do this, I can do this, or I can stay on the path that I'm on. So we're going to come into our first shape. Hopefully that made sense. Feels like sometimes a bit of a ramble. So we're going to come into our first shape, which is butterfly. So you can remain sitting on your bolster or a cushion, just making sure that your spine can be long, bringing the bottoms of your feet together, let the knees drop out to the side. It can be nice to bring something underneath the knees like blocks just to rest them on so you can actually relax into the shape. From here, you can stay sitting tall, or you can start to fold forward. So you're going to do that, breathing in, lengthening through the spine, breathing out, folding the upper body forward. So we want to find that first little bit of sensation. And that might have been from when you first sat and let the knees drop out to the side. So a little reminder here in our first shape that with our yin practice, it's not about going to your 100% stretch. So we're not going for all out. So our focus here is we're working with our connective tissue, and that responds very differently. It responds a lot slower than our muscle does. So we want to ease into it. So finding a point of resistance or a point of stretch. And maybe think it's like 30 or maybe 40% of your max. You can use your props if you've got them. So it can be nice just to bring a block to your feet or even the bolster out in front to rest down to the bolster. You can rest the forehead down to the block. And within our yin practice, we are as passive as we can be. It means relaxing as much as you can within the shape. Find a nice smooth rhythm of your breath. And that's always a good indicator as to have you gone too far. It'll always let you know if you have. You'll start to breathe quite short and sharp. So if that's the case, just pull back a little. Find that connection into the smooth breath again. And then it will possibly, not always, invite you to go deeper. So using the breath, you might lengthen a little bit as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, seeing if you can soften into the shape more. So again, it's very passive, it's not forced. Focusing on the breathing, just feeling into the body where you feel it in the body. And I can't tell you where that is. Maybe around the thighs, around the lower back, around the hip area. You might feel that all the way up the spines, depending on what's happening in your body. So just noticing, and it's all about the experience. Just experiencing what is happening in your body. Take 3 more breaths. Using the next inhale, just gently pressing yourself back up and out of the shape. Taking any kind of movement or stillness that you feel your body needs. So it might be some windshield wipers. You may just want to sit back, lengthen the legs out. Maybe reverse the curve through the spine. Just doing whatever you feel you need to do. Our next shape will be straddle, not to be confused with saddle, which I have done previously in the past. So you're going to bring both our legs, or both of your legs, out wide. And just coming just as wide as feels okay. So you don't have to go into the splits or anything like that. You may find that your knees need to be bent, and it can be nice to just let the legs or the knees rest on support. So if they are really, really tight, just allow yourself to do that. Sitting up tall. So again, you can be sitting on a blanket or a cushion just to allow the spine to lengthen. Let's take a little moment here, just give the toes a point, bringing them back, and then let the legs relax. Lengthening up through the spine. So this may be where you stay. If you're getting the invitation to take it deeper, breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, start to walk your hands forward until you feel that kind of first sign, or around about 30% of where you could maximally go. You might feel a really subtle or a really strong line of tension through your inner thighs. You might feel that all the way down into your ankles, maybe around the hips and up through the spine. Maybe through the front of the hips as you've just folded forward and you've closed that gap, compressing through the hip. Breathing smoothly. And then using the breath, letting that guide you deeper, but not forcing it. And then check in. So breathing smoothly. And then what's happening in your mind? So are you monkey mind, distracting yourself, thinking about everything else, or what's happening in your day, or what needs to happen next? Just know that that is totally normal. It also takes up a lot of space and a lot of energy. So seeing if you can start to slow that down a little bit. So focusing on the breath in and the breath out. And just for as long as you can, focusing just on your breath. And then when you notice that your mind has wandered, which it most likely will, just go, okay, thank you, and then come back to the breath. You might bring that point of focus to the sensations. And just allowing yourself to feel into them and experience what is there. Seeing if you can fully accept what is happening. Take 3 more breaths. And then using the next inhale, slowly pressing yourself back up, taking your time. And just keeping that focus on the body as you start to add some movement, or you may need to just sit in stillness for a moment. And we're going to make our way over into dragon. So either using, you can use 2 blocks here or even a bolster. You may not need anything, and that is totally fine. So just starting from your hands and knees, so bringing the knees under hips, wrists underneath your shoulders, taking your right ankle around the outside of your right hand, and then taking the left knee back long. You may need some support underneath that back knee, so if you need to, adding a cushion or a blanket. I'm just going to come into a side position. So we're going to hold here, just making sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, lengthening up through the spine. So I did mention at the start of the class that our yin practice is as passive as we can be. There are certain shapes though that require a little bit of effort, and this is one of those, or a little bit of sort of strength and bodily effort. So pressing down into the palms, lengthening through the arms, shoulders are down away from the ears. You can be up on your fists if you need to, or even coming onto 2 blocks or 2 books. That was also a great little tool to use, just so you can lengthen up through the spine and you're not dumping down into your neck and shoulders. This is one of those shapes that is perfect to practice these kind of 4 options that, or 4 choices that we tend to make when we're in a challenging situation. It might not be challenging for you, but I always find this one pretty intense. So are you just distracting yourself and thinking about everything else, or thinking that it's stupid, that I'm stupid, that the pose is stupid. Just checking in with that, checking in with your breath, seeing if you can still breathe nice and smoothly. Feeling into the sensations. Can you accept what is happening right now in the moment? As strong or as subtle as it may be. Option now, if you'd like to, you can stay here in this position, or you can heel toe your right foot out to the side a little bit, come onto the outside edge of that foot, and then lower down onto your forearms. The same rules apply. Not that I really like rules, but there's got to be some kind of standard that we stick to, so we're still able to breathe. We're not in risky pain. There may be discomfort, lots of strong sensations. Just how much is too much, and that is 100% your choice. Take 3 more breaths. And very slowly pressing yourself up and out of the shape. Doing whatever the body, whatever you feel it needs. And then, you know what has to happen? We have to do that on the other side. So setting yourself up, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Bring the left foot around the outside of the left hand. Shift the right knee back. Take any kind of option that you need, or add any kind of support that you need, either using blocks or bolsters or books. Take that little check-in, make sure wrists are underneath shoulders, lengthening through the spine. Do a little check-in with your head, just turn it from side to side, make sure you're not dumping down into your neck and shoulders. And connecting into that smooth breath. maybe big differences or minor differences from side to side. And seeing if you can simply acknowledge the differences. You don't have to figure out why they're there, it doesn't matter for now. Simply noticing and experiencing what's there. And then checking in with how your mind is thinking and where the mind wants to go. And to change our way of thinking, we have to be aware of it first. And once we find that awareness, we can consciously change it. So if you're thinking negatively and thinking that it sucks, it's going to suck pretty bad. Think, got this. This is helping my body. I know we're not going to be here for too long. And that just changes the whole outlook of it. Changes the way your body feels about it. The way we think affects the way we feel. The way we feel affects the way we think. And be quite a vicious cycle if we let it be that way. Option, heel toe the left foot out, drop the knee out, coming down to the forearms. So just an option, might not be accessible on this side. So just working with where you're at and what you feel you need to do on this side. I don't know if you can hear that. One of my puppies is trying to make herself comfortable on the couch. Probably messing up all the cushions. Oh, this is you. Did you hear me talking about you? Did you hear me talking about you? Hello. How you doing? Daisy Doggins? Are you going to say hello? Good. Holding and breathing. Don't let the puppy distract you. Oh no, here comes another one. Oh no. Taking 3 more breaths. And then slowly pressing yourself up and out. Letting the body do whatever it needs to do. Daisy's the master yin practicer. Aren't you? Sleeping dog pose all day on the couch. Very good at it. So we're going to come back into our inner thighs. And we're going to come into frog. So option, if you need to, option is child's pose. Coming into a wide knees child's pose, if that's accessible for you. Can be nice to have a bolster or a pillow out in front. Can be relaxing shape, just depending on what's happening in your body. It may not be. So resting down to the support or resting down to the floor. If you'd like to come into frog, it's going to come off I feel like I'm kind of a little bit unstable here on the, this will do. So just bringing your knees wide as feels okay. And then the feet are going to come in line with your knee, and this the inside edge of the foot is resting down on the floor. So start from this position here, and then we'll go from this side, and then start to press your hips back with the knees just as wide as feels okay. You may find that as we hold the shape, that you can take the knees wider and just pressing your hips back. So remember, we just want to kind of feel that kind of 30% of sensation, and it's kind of hard to know where that is. So just kind of testing the waters. So you'll know if you've gone too far, because you'll go, oh, your body will instantly kind of want to come out of it. So just kind of playing around, just pressing back till you feel sensation. It's not super, super strong that you can't hold it and relax into it, but it's not super subtle either where you can barely feel anything. It's kind of like the not Hansel and Gretel, the three little pigs analogy with the porridge. It's not too hot, not too cold, it's just right. So again, a little bit of effort happening from the upper body, pressing down into the forearms. And just keep on checking in with yourself. Breathing nice and smoothly. Knowing that you have the power to change how you think and feel about the situation. Can be really easy, sometimes even satisfying to have that kind of victim mentality, that negativity about something. And that is 100%, that's your choice. We get stronger physically, mentally, emotionally if we allow ourselves to see a challenge, push through it. Know that we can do it. Letting the breath possibly guide you a little deeper into the shape. And just checking in with areas, where can you soften more? Take 3 more breaths. And very slowly, make your way up and out of the shape. Taking any kind of movement that you need. We are going to come onto our back, so just take your time. If you need to kind of have a bit of a move around before you get there, please let that happen. If you have a strap, have that handy, or a towel or a t-shirt. Again, you may not need it at all. So we're going to lay down onto our back. What you doing, Daisy dog? So we're going to do a IT band release. So I'm going to demonstrate with the strap. So you're going to start with it around just 1 foot. It doesn't matter which one because you will do the other one later. So just holding onto the strap. So you're going to gently just speak English. So lengthening out with your other leg. And then just kind of pull the leg kind of over a little bit to your opposite shoulder. And then start to shift it across to the opposite side of the body. So you want to try and you're not like rolling to the side. It's not trying to come into a big twist. So it's just kind of taking that leg across. You should start to feel something. Shouldn't say that. You might not feel it at all, but I'm kind of thinking you might be. Through the outside part of your thigh. And we're just going to hold that. So again, we need to kind of use the upper body here. So either a strap, a towel, a t-shirt. If you've got the space, you can use your other hand. I like to do it like this. Just take it to the outside edge of the foot, and then that's actually quite strong. Just breathing nice and smoothly. So if you do a lot of running or cycling or just kind of life in general, can make us tight through these areas. Hang on, Daisy dog. All right. I know. Right, good stretching, good stretching. You're such a good girl. I think I know what you need to do. So I'm not going to hold this one for quite as long as we would. This is kind of like a mini yin practice. 75 minutes condensed into however long, I think like 35 minutes or something. Good, and it's lowering that leg down. And coming to the other side. So either using the strap or a t-shirt or a towel or just your hand. Coming up, bringing it sort of across to the opposite shoulder and then across to the side. Daisy, hang on. I know. I know. It's all right. It's okay, hang on. Alright. I think Daisy needs to go to the toilet. Do you go to the toilet? Oh, you do. Okay. Good. Taking a few more breaths here. And then slowly releasing that down. So you're going to come onto your back into a resting pose position. So staying there for as long as you feel you need. I have been rudely interrupted by 2 puppy dogs. And then when you feel ready coming up and out, just take your time coming back into your space and slowly kind of coming back into the day or the evening. Drinking lots of water. Thank you very much for joining me. Arthur and Daisy say thank you, and I'll see you next time.